So one of the first things that you do when you set up Dreamweaver is you start setting up a website that you're going to create locally, and then once you're done, you're going to publish all of that information onto the web. So how do we do that? The first thing that I usually recommend to everybody when you're doing that is to kind of just go onto your desktop and make a folder for yourself that's going to be for the entire project. That way, if you need to hand off the project to somebody, or if you're looking for any files that are specific to the project, they're all in one spot. Now for this class, what we're going to do is we're going to make a furniture assembly company. So I'm just going to call this B space and space B space furniture assembly. Now, what I'll do is once I have that all set, I'll just go ahead and open that up, and I'm going to make some files inside of here for all of the raw formats. So if I know that I'm going to make graphics that are going to be Photoshop based, you know what? I'm going to make a folder called PSD. If I know that I'm going to make files that are Flash based, I'm going to make an FLA file. If I know that I'm going to make a file that's Illustrator based, I'm going to make an AI file. If I'm going to make something that's Fireworks based, I'm going to make a PNG file. Now, all of the raw stuff I keep in here. So obviously, probably one of the other things that I want to do is I want to make something called client docs, right? In case the client sends me some stuff, contracts, samples, tests, marketing, copy. I keep all of that stuff in this one area. Now, finally, the last thing that I usually do is I come over here and I make a new folder, and that folder I call www. That's the website root. That's the main section that I'm going to turn around and I'm actually going to create all of the website in. Once I'm done, then I take all of that information and I publish only this one folder onto the web. So it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to manage. Now that this portion is set, actually, I'll be completely honest with you. What I do is I usually, instead of making this B&B furniture assembly, what I'll do is I'll just call this sample client folder. Right? And then I just kind of leave this on my computer. And then whenever I need to make a new one, right, for a new client, I just copy, and then I come over here and I paste, and I make a separate one. Now I can take this one and just rename it to whatever it is that I want to be able to rename it. So I can call it P space and B furniture. Now I have all of that structure there available. Now for the course download, you can go ahead and just download this guy here. I'm going to go ahead and include that so that you don't have to do the work, but that's kind of the method to the madness. Back inside of Dreamweaver, we got to go ahead and we have to define that website. So I'm going to either click on Site and click on New Sites, or Manage Sites. You can do it from there, or you can do it right here from the Files panel. You can just click on Manage Sites. Either one, I'm going to go to, let's try Manage Sites because you can kind of see it here, and that's where you would probably go. Now, from here, I'm just going to click on New, and I'm going to click on New Site. There's two ways to go about it. There's a basic way and an advanced way. Let's go through the basic way because that's probably what you're going to do anyway. So I'm going to call this B space and space B furniture. And it doesn't really matter, to be honest. You can call this bacon and eggs if you want. It's only going to appear here. So this doesn't get published on the web. It's in case you need to be able to juggle multiple websites. That's where you're going to see that from. The URL of the website, you don't necessarily have to fill in just yet. You can click on Next. Do you want to use anything that's ColdFusion, ASP, .NET, JSP? If you don't know what they are, chances are you don't need to use it. And being that this is a Dreamweaver CS4 class, we're not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to click on No. I don't want to use that server technology. I'm going to click on Next. What do you want to do with your files? You want to make local copies, right? You're going to make the website locally, and then you're going to publish it on the net. More often than not, this is going to be the option that you're going to use, the top option. Obviously, you need to be able to tell it where those local files are. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this Browse button. I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to go to B&B Furniture. And I don't want to do this because that'll publish all of the source files and you won't be able to see the website. So what you're going to do from here is you're going to go to the www folder and you're going to double click on that. That's going to be the start of the website. Once you have that set, you click on Select. You're pretty much good to go. Now you click on Next. How do you want to connect to the server? Chances are, if you're doing this, you're probably going to connect to the server via FTP. So if you click on that, then you can put in the FTP address that your web hosting provider gave you, the root directory that they gave you, as well as your login and your password. So entirely up to you. For the most part, usually what I say is if you keep this set at none, you can always go back and edit these changes later. So straightforward that way. You click next, it gives you a summary of all of this information. You can click on done, and you're pretty much good to go. Click on done in this window, and notice now that instead of showing you the desktop, it shows you this green folder. This is what we're going to call the site root, or the start of the website. So whenever I say highlight the site root and start from somewhere, that's the folder that you want to work with. And notice that if you hover over it, it tells you where that folder is locally on the computer. Now, going forward, if you need to be able to create a website, you could always just go over here and go to the new site section. And really all of this step by step that we just did, if you go to the advanced section, all it is 3 areas. It's this area here, this first one, this local root folder, the second one, and in the remote info, the access. So if you don't want to go through next, just fill in this as a name, fill in this as a site root, fill in the remote info, and then click OK, and you're pretty much done. Now, in the next lesson, what I want to do is I want to start talking about how to be able to create files and folders inside of Dreamweaver and start populating them with some content.